What up, everyone? Welcome to the Fitizens podcast, episode 1 with Eric. I'm the founder of Boardgains, and today we have a special episode. It's the first ever episode, and it's sponsored by Dun 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 Dun. If you guys want to be the sponsor, send us an email at info@boardgains.com, and we'll get to it. So today we have Coach Lawrence from Sudbury. So I hope you guys are ready to get a lot of fitness tips from Coach Lawrence and learning about board games in general and how he uses it. So we'll get to today's episode. See you guys inside.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone that's listening and watching. Welcome to the Fitizens podcast. This is our very first episode, and we are with Coach Lawrence. So, Coach, tell us who you are and where you're from.
An honor to be here. Thanks for having me, Eric. I appreciate it. I'm from, we'll call it Sudbury, Ontario. I'm actually living in Chelmsford.
Chelmsford.
Yeah, which is just outside of Sudbury by about 20 minutes. And for those of you in the Toronto area, which I know your podcast is based, we're probably about, maybe 4 hours away, 4 hours away. Yeah.
Ontario's big.
Yeah, we got a lot of space to cover. But yeah, that's where we're at. And we run Precision Elite Training. So that's something that I created. And we've been working with that for, I would say, a good 3 years online, 2 years online at least now.
Okay.
And a lot of years before that in person. So we'll talk about that today.
How did you start off with precision training?
The idea behind it was actually my boxing background.
Okay.
It evolved from that. I competed as an amateur boxer since I was 7 years old. And my whole life was based around boxing. Everything was training fitness for boxing. So that's where the precision came from. When it came time to create a company, my base was to be precise with the striking. So it was about precision. To be elite, obviously, was the highest level possible amongst all the competition, was to be at the highest level of education and application. So I wanted precision and elite. And of course, training became, the umbrella that allowed me to be able to cover different elements. And not just pigeonhole myself into the boxing world, but also into weight loss, into weightlifting and bodybuilding and everything else that we can offer. So it was Precision Elite Training by the end of it. And I thought, well, that's the perfect name to sum up everything I wanted to encapsulate.
That's perfect, because that's one of the main things about being personal trainers. You have to be able to diversify yourself. You have to be able to like do different things, be able to you can have boxing skills, have group fitness skills too, teaching classes, mobility, stretching, have like a good wide array of skills so your clients can have the best results.
Totally agree with that, Eric. 100%. The more, and again, I guess you when we talk about the business side of it, I always tell people to focus on a niche market because there's such a broad spectrum out there. But that doesn't mean that in your niche market you can't offer so many great services with that experience, right? So all the different things that you have educated yourself in and experienced in becomes something you can bring to your niche market. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all about. I like to say it's like each trainer has their own toolkit. And in the toolkit is all the different resources they have. Some have boxing skills, some have combat, some have kettlebell, some have like strength training, athlete training, all different types in the toolbox.
I like that. I like the toolbox analogy. That's good.
Yeah.
Definitely applies. And again, every trainer, like you say, is different in their experiences, what they bring to the table. And when selecting, a coach to work with, there comes down to personality and communication as well, right?
Yeah.
You could take the most knowledgeable individual in the world with the biggest toolbox, but they don't have the communication that jives with you.
Yeah, so, the personality factor.
Yeah, there's definitely a personality factor.
Yeah,
that adds to the toolbox.
Yeah, that's one big thing is the personality factor, because you have to be able to mesh with your clients because you're spending so much time with them, texting them back and forth, nutrition, trying to track everything with them. You're spending a lot of time with them, so you have to be able to mesh with the clients.
Totally, 100%. And that's something I love about watching your videos. Through your Instagrams and through your, obviously through your Boardgains and habitual fitness, getting to see the way that you interact with the teams and the individuals you work with is very inspiring. I like watching those videos, and even if they're cursing, they're having a good time.
Those get the most views.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, they get the most views.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your
That,
favorite things about training clients?
when I first started the journey, I was the first client. So,
Mm.
that
I
was
remember
the
seeing your
biggest
transformation
part.
photo.
Yeah, and I had gained a severe amount of weight, became what they would call, clinically obese, and
What was
I
the
had a lot of
reason?
work to do on myself. Pardon?
How did that happen? Because you were a boxer at a young age.
Yeah,
Maybe it was because like
yeah,
sometimes, sometimes you see like as kids when they're like really like athletic in the beginning and like their parents are like pushing them to go into like training and all that. Sometimes it gets too much for them and then they just relapse as they get older.
a great point, and it happens to a lot of young athletes.
Yeah.
For me, the story is quite long, and I don't know how long we're going to be on the podcast today, but I'll try to give
Summary,
you the
quick summary.
I'll give you the quick
Elevator
summary of
pitch.
it. So I started when I was 7 years old. It was kind of a small town thing. I'm from a place called Hornpain. It's way up north.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a very small town, about 1,000 people. So there wasn't a lot to do for kids at all,
Okay.
rather than get in trouble. So boxing came to town, and it was kind of just a recreational thing. So I got involved in that, and I was just very motivated to keep doing it. I competed all the way through till I was in my, I would say at least, 16, 17, 18. Those were my prime years.
Okay.
And at that time, I had qualified for national teams, won provincials, Golden Gloves championships. I mean, I was really on a roll. And so I moved from Hornpain to Sudbury, which is how I ended up here
Yeah.
in this area. There was a national and Olympic team here. So this was kind of the next step to make the Olympics. So I began training for the 2000 Olympics here from Sudbury. And I suffered a severe injury to my left foot, a stress
Mm,
fracture during
yeah.
training. So we were running sprints one morning, and it just kind of felt like a hot nail through the foot.
Uh-huh.
And after the X-rays, I was out for about 6 months in a cast. My calf had completely atrophied. It was about the size of a broomstick when we took it out of the cast. And yeah, I mean, at the Olympic level, you've got to be obviously, as sharp as can be. Your reaction time has to be on par. Like
Yeah.
it was, I had fallen too far back in 6 months of inactivity to be able to compete with where I was before the injury. And depression set in. I knew I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
The Olympics were now out of reach. I could wait another 4 years, or just kind of consider this at the end of the line because of my age in the sport.
Yeah.
It was a tough call, and depression won that battle on me. So
Mm,
I ended up spending the next, I would say, somewhere around 7 years, the next 7 years, just completely letting go of everything I ever worked for. So I thought, I've always watched what I ate. I've always exercised.
yeah.
I've always been active. I'm done with all of it. So I gave up, and I ate poorly. I did not move. I gave up on all of it. So that, like I say, the depression won that battle. But long story short here, I got to the point where medically I was very unhealthy. And there was an advertisement on a bulletin. I don't know if you've ever seen those, where you pull down the phone number if you want to contact the whoever's advertising, it's like a
Okay.
paper. Anyway, convenience store looking for a boxing coach or an assistant boxing coach. And I thought, I'm completely out of shape, but one thing that didn't go anywhere is the knowledge.
Skills.
So I
Yeah.
can bring the knowledge, right? The skills. And I said, I love helping the kids. I love helping, anybody. Really, it doesn't have to be just kids, but I thought I can offer something back to the world with at least all the work I put in
Yeah.
learning about boxing. So I pulled down that number. I called. I went and showed up. And fast forward 3 years later, I was pretty much running as head coach of that gym.
So was that your first personal training experience?
Now, that was my first group training experience. That was my first personal training experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally was my chance to get the feel for working with people other than me being the athlete. I took the role of coach,
Yeah.
and that changed everything, man. I found passion again. I
That's
found the
good.
excitement watching the kids, come to me and say, "Hey, coach, what do you think of this?" And let me show you how fast I can skip. It was simple, but it was so rewarding, man. And that was it, Eric. I decided after that, I was going to be more involved. And by being more involved, I just got more active, right? I
Yeah.
showed up. Maybe I jumped the rope with the kids. I was way overweight, so my knees were feeling it, my hips were feeling it. It wasn't a fast transition, but the activity levels that I was able to put a little bit every night
Yeah.
with the kids,
Slow
and
and
I was
steady.
excited to do it.
Yeah.
I started losing 5 pounds, 10 pounds. It started coming off. And the healthier my mind got, the healthier my body got. So I ate better. I nourished, everything started to fall into place like a wheel moving forward, right? So
Yeah.
I went to a gym. I had never weightlifted in my life. A lot of people think boxing, you'd be hitting the weights. But no, we were told, building muscle would slow us down. It would put us
That
in a
makes
bigger
sense.
weight class. You know what I mean? So the misconception was that strength training was a no-go for boxers. Today, we know that's a lot different. But back then, I was never able to touch weights. So I had no knowledge of weight training, resistance, or muscle building at all.
Yeah.
So I went to a gym. I wanted to learn about it. And so I hired a personal trainer. I got a program and nutrition to follow. So I had a bit of an idea what I was doing because, man, as excited as I was to be a coach, I had no knowledge outside of boxing.
Trust
there
me,
was nothing.
the best personal trainers have personal trainers. Swear to God,
story,
yeah.
man.
That's
True
how it
story.
is. Yeah, because
Absolutely. Yeah. And
it's
this guy
always a
changed my
lot to
life.
learn.
Yeah, he basically just guided me in the right direction, And as I started to lose more and more weight and build muscle, my aesthetics changed a lot. People noticed it very quickly, right? And so I was getting approached in the gym.
Okay, what
saying,
year was
What are
this?
you?
Roughly.
Pardon?
What year was that?
Oh man, we're going back a long ways now. I'm
Okay.
44 years old this year, so this was the beginning of the journey, man. I was in
Okay.
my 20s, probably
20s?
26. I'm
26?
going to say
Okay.
somewhere around 26 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, which to some might be late in the journey to start, fitness and bodybuilding. But I'll tell you guys, there's never too late in the
Never
game to
too
start.
late. Yeah.
Never. It was awesome, man. I went into this gym. I got that plan, and then so people were noticing the change. They were literally coming up to me and saying, "Can you train me? Can you show me what you're doing? Can you walk me through your workout, whatever?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No. I mean, I'm in a gym where they have trainers. Go hire them, right? They're the ones who have the knowledge. I'm just applying what they showed me."
Yeah.
And then I realized that's really what coaching is to have a great coach and then pass the knowledge along through your experience.
Exactly.
And you become a coach, and then you kind of create new coaches of the future, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So I said, you know what? Maybe the next thing for me to do is to get certified so that I could teach. And,
Okay.
a piece of paper and a certification doesn't make me a great trainer. I'm going to need experience.
Yeah.
But these people are all lining up saying, help me. I see it's working for you.
That's how you
Help
get
me.
the experience.
That's it, man. That's it. So long story short, I went and got certified and started with, a couple clients here and there, scared to death, man. For any new trainers out there, you might go into it scared, but it's okay. You've got to learn as you go. And okay, today there's so much information out there, but I always say get certified so that you're legally covered, and then start building your experience.
What are you certified with?
Experience is vital. When I first started, I went with the CanFit Pro certification, which through Good Life and the Canadian Fitness Professional.
Okay, yeah.
I took that course just so that I had base, coverage and a generalized understanding of what was going on. It was a great course, and it gave me the backing I needed to be able to get out there and take on a few clients. But I'll tell you, there's no certification that replaces the experience you're going to get working with people, man. That is the biggest learning point, because you're gonna experience so many different elements. But it also helps you kind of figure out what niche market you might be best in.
Yeah.
Because I've dealt with mostly weight loss clients, because that was my journey, right?
Yeah.
Weight loss. Then I had a few hockey players come to me and say, "Hey, I hear you were an Olympic boxer, right? I want to be as elite on the ice as I can be. What can you do for me?" And I thought, well, that's a completely different genre than weight loss.
Yeah.
So I went and I took an advanced power training certificate.
Oh, that's good.
Certification.
Yeah.
And that was to specifically work with hockey players who were coming to me with, areas like deceleration power and things that normally you wouldn't focus too much on in the weight loss. So I had a lot more to learn, and it was a continued growth, but I realized that we're never done learning.
Never done learning.
We're never done.
The
Even
tip
as
for the
coaches.
day. Never done learning.
As coaches, our job is to keep evolving so that we can keep helping our clients evolve.
Exactly.
Break and plateau, right? So always something new and exciting to venture into, but that's where it all began for me, man. I hope that wasn't too long of a story.
That was good. A lot of great tips in there for new trainers out there as well. If they're listening, just get started, get the experience. That's the most important thing, is just to get your feet wet, get the experience. You can have all the brain knowledge and all the school knowledge, but you need those hands-on skills.
Oh, it's so important, man. It's really like you talked about the toolbox, you know. If you have experience in your toolbox, that's the biggest item you can have in there to make a difference.
Yeah.
The piece of paper that certifies you, like you said, it's book knowledge, and you can stand and repeat, you know, all of the jargon from every textbook to people, but all of those stats don't mean anything to the client unless they can apply it.
Exactly.
And more, I personally have found if you are going to be a personal trainer or a coach, the most important thing is to lead by example and to show that you care, because people won't care what you know until they know that you care. It's so important.
Yep, that is golden nuggets, like Coach Lawrence right there. Show people that you care. That's
Absolutely.
great. So what other gyms have you worked out at?
You know,
You started
when I
with
first started
the
it,
boxing gym. What was the name of the boxing
yeah,
gym?
this was the first one I started coaching at was actually the Valley East Boxing Club, which
Okay.
is just outside of Sudbury again, on the outskirts. Like there's Chelmsford and there's Valcarran.
Okay.
It's out there. So about 20 minutes to 30 minutes out of Sudbury.
Any other gyms, or just was that the only one?
Yeah. So from there, I went to what was once the Gold's Gym. It had
Oh,
kind
okay.
of privatized, and but there was there. As far as franchises, I mean, for names that people might recognize, if we can say that on the podcast and
Yeah, that's fine.
mention. Yeah. Okay. So there was once a Premier Fitness,
Oh,
which went under.
that's classic. I used to
Yeah.
work at a
So I was
Premier when
working.
it first started.
That
When I
was.
first started,
There you go. Yeah,
but
that was a
they
huge
changed
thing.
over.
They,
It was Premier Fitness, but I think they closed down and went bankrupt, and then they switched it over to it's called Mississauga Family Fitness.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was still Premier.
Um,
They just changed the name.
Okay, I had seen a lot of the locations had changed to LA Fitness as well,
Okay.
on the big chain spectrum
Yeah,
of it, but they were the same buildings, same location. So Mississauga must have done something a little more private with theirs, maybe.
yeah. But
Um,
now it's
yeah.
LA. Now it's in LA now.
Uh, oh, it's LA now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it
So
didn't
yeah,
last long. That change over to the Mississauga Family
that's right.
Fitness.
Right. From the business side of it, the franchises go through a lot of changes. But so yeah, I was offered a job opportunity to work out of London, Ontario, at the Premier Fitness as a health center manager. With I believe we had 20 personal trainers and 5 kinesiologists at the time.
Okay. Yeah,
And so here
they're big staff.
I went from managing the Sudbury location of a private gym.
Yeah.
Up to this health center, a huge change for me. But I was again growth, right? Looking for opportunity to grow. So
Yeah.
I went down to London, Ontario, and I was able to experience the difference also between northern mentality and fitness and exercise versus southern mentality.
Mm,
And when I say southern, we're talking Ontario. But
yeah.
believe it or not, there's a huge
I
difference.
didn't even know.
It was a huge difference, and the mentality changed, not just amongst the clients, but amongst the business itself.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a real, I don't know if you call it like a slap in the face or a wake up call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see that it wasn't so laid back anymore. It was a little bit more, and we're talking about the business side, right? So again, if we're talking about new trainers listening to the podcast, there are differences in the market and who you work for. If you're choosing to go work for a gym.
Yeah.
There are things I didn't really realize were a priority, but again, from a business standpoint, and it was more sales quotas based
That's
and
the thing about
pressure,
franchise gyms. That's how it is.
yeah,
Franchise gyms.
pressure tactics and things
Yeah.
like that. And again, I don't mean to talk bad about franchise gyms, but they've got to make money, right? So
That's how they do it.
it steered me away, and I tell you, it steered me away because of my personal ethics and my care for my clients as a
Yeah.
coach, right? I didn't have the businessman sense that they had. I had the caring coaching side that a personal
Uh,
trainer or a good
yeah.
coach would need.
The franchise gyms, they're good for teaching you sales skills. That's one thing they're good
Yes.
at. They teach you the sales skills.
Yes, absolutely agree with that, Eric. So yeah, it puts you in a tough spot when you get down into that realization of, you've got to kind of somewhere find a balance between businessman and caring coach.
Yeah.
And I still juggle with that today. It's a tough place to be in, but a fun place at the same time. Because like you said, you do learn about sales skills. So
Yeah.
the Southern fitness world taught me a lot, and I actually left it for a long time. Went into trades, and I got into all kinds of other jobs.
Yeah.
it was a bit of a scary, but then I came back into what we would call family fitness or small studio style.
Yeah. So
And
like
I realized I
independent
belonged,
gyms.
personally belonged a lot better in that aspect. In that world, it meant more. I was able to connect better with clients one on one. It was a little less pressure.
Yeah.
You're dealing with more of a one on one.
It's
But
more
then
one
I
on
got to the
one.
point where, yeah, one on one leads us to trading our time for that 1 hour,
Yeah.
one client. And I thought, if my goal is to help as many people as possible, and there's only 24 hours in a day, quite limited with one-on-ones. What if I opened the world to group training and I tried, helping more people in that same hour?
Okay. So
And
that's how
group
you got started
training,
in the group training.
yeah, man, I used boxing as the first group training session. So outside of the boxing club, obviously, in a gym aspect, we had a small cardiovascular fitness room.
Yeah.
We called the aerobic room, and I started teaching something we call box fit today, kind of
Okay.
like aerobic movements with boxing patterns.
Well, that's
And
good. All
yeah,
body
man,
weight?
all body weight. And that was a cool experience. Being able to bring my boxing back around, because I hadn't used it for a long time at this point, right? Now
Yeah.
I had been transitioning into weight training and got away from the boxing. So here's my chance to kind of respark the boxing passion as well. It made it so fun, man. The boxing classes were packed. People were loving it, and again, they can feel your energy as a coach. So,
Yeah.
for you and I, we've been doing this a long time. We naturally have a passion for it. You can see it, you can feel it when you work with us or even listen to us. But for new trainers coming in, and there's that fear element, which I know I had when I first
Yeah. When I
started.
first started teaching classes. Yeah.
Yeah, man, the communication's not there, and it's a bit like they can feel you. They can feel your hesitancy and they can feel your uncertainty. So the best advice I could give people is go in and enjoy what you do. Just be part of it and love the process. Have fun with it, and they'll feel that you're having fun, even if you feel like you're screwing it all up, man. You're gonna feel you're having a good time with it. And of course, with experience, you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
So
It's all about the
it became a
experience.
hit. It was a huge hit.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So box fit, and then box fit led to boot camps, which was where we started adding a little bit of weight training.
Yeah.
People were saying, what if we brought some of your personal training, weight training skills, and you taught some of that to us, even if it was just a few movements in a class,
Yeah.
right? So I started creating these hybrid programs where we focused on the boxing fitness, and we added some weight training to it. And I thought, this is beautiful. Like, we're really getting a chance to
That's good.
experience the whole genre of training. And I'm getting to use, like you said, as many tools from my toolbox as
Exactly.
possible.
Yeah, and
So,
you're hitting more people too. Instead of your one-on-one, now you're like a group session. Now it's like 20 to 1, 5 to 1, 6, 10 to 1. So it's better that way. You're helping more people in that same 1 hour, and they're getting the same results, maybe even better results sometimes, because they're with more people. They're more energized and they're more focused because it's a group atmosphere.
that's a good point too, Eric. When you talk about focus, it's easy in a one-on-one session. If someone is having a rough day, it's you and only you as a coach who can pull them out of that.
Yeah.
But in a group setting, they can look to their left or their right and see somebody else who might be also having a bad day, but still kicking some ass, right?
Exactly.
And they're thinking, what am I doing? And you kind of get that wake-up call saying, pick it up.
Yeah.
You can have a bad day. My boxing coach said something that it stuck with me for the rest of my life. I was having a bad day in the gym one time, and I was taking it out on everything. My push-ups, my hitting the bag, I was unfocused and just angry, right? I was having a bad day. He said, I want you to leave. Go back out of the gym. And I said, why? I didn't want to. He said, I can tell that you're off. Something's bothering you. He said, I want you to leave and go stick it outside the door. And he said, then you can come back in. And he said, when you go outside, I want you to take your hand and I want you to hit it against the outside of the door frame. And that's, leave your problems right there at the door.
Yeah.
If you want them when you leave, you can pick them up. It's up to you. But when you're in here, they won't be in here with you. So I said, that's silly. It didn't make any sense to me, but he made me go out and do it. And I walked out and I said, fine. And I hit the door. I said, there, done. I walked back in and I had this release. It actually worked. I felt like I had left my problems at the door, physically and literally. I had a great workout that day. And I came up with something from that experience that I said, even on your worst day, you can have your best day. And I went to the gym that day and I had literally the best workout, man. It changed everything. So I've brought that into Precision Elite, and I tell my clients every day, you can literally have your best day on your worst day. So don't ever make an excuse, I've had a bad day, I'm going to skip training today, I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
Getting into it is what's going to change your day. It's amazing.
Once you get that first sweat, then it starts changing your day.
Get through that warm up, that first 5 minutes or 7 minutes, whatever you're putting into your warm up, get through that, and it will literally change your state. And of course, if you're an Anthony Robbins fan or any of those motivational and influential speakers, they'll tell you the motivation doesn't come before the action. The action creates that motivation.
Exactly.
It's easy to get unmotivated, but getting into it and getting active will change your state.
Facts. Just preaching knowledge right now.
Absolute facts.
That's good. That's good. I love all that. It's good for group fitness.
Sure.
Everyone that's listening to this, even on your worst day, you can have your best day. I love that quote.
100%, man. 100%. It has driven me through so many days, where you might be feeling it. And like we talked about group classes, there are going to be days where people attend class because they've got an obligation, they bought a pass or whatever it is, and they show up and go, oh, I don't want to be here today. And in a group setting, that that friend of yours that you look forward to seeing they might come over and say, hey, you're looking good. You look like you lost a pound or so. They don't know you're having a bad day, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're thinking, hey, posture up, let's do this. Okay, I lost. Somebody thinks I lost a pound. Maybe if I didn't, it's still good, right?
Yeah.
They're noticing some changes, and all of a sudden your whole demeanor changes, your whole day and your workout. So getting to that positive group of individuals who support the same journey is very critical.
Yeah.
And I think that personal training one-on-one, as valuable as that is, don't get me wrong that it's not valuable, but the group aspect offers more of a team support. And having been a boxer, that's what a lot of people view as a one-on-one sport. So you'd think you're very alone in the sport of boxing, but I have never experienced team the way that teams should be, in my opinion, as I did in boxing. When I started coaching, my whole focus was not on training one athlete to be, by themselves. I wanted them to feel that they had a whole team of people. When you step into that ring, know that you've got an army of people behind you who have helped you prepare. They've helped you, and they're going to be there cheering. They're going to be there supporting. It's an incredible feeling. You don't feel alone anymore, even though you're by yourself. So I brought that into the personal training world too. And I said, listen, it's your journey and it's you versus you. Right? You don't have to compete with anybody else in the class. Don't worry about how you look or how you feel. Don't fear being judged. These are all things that most people come in with preconceived fears, right? Those things don't exist. And again, if they do, the person who would have that type of mentality to look across the room and say to somebody else, look at that person, person wouldn't be in a class like that. They would be in the gym by themselves, hiding in a corner somewhere and criticizing everybody else because they fear being criticized. In a group, everybody's there to support each other.
Yeah,
it's the most amazing, literally the most amazing fitness energy I've ever seen is in group training, which was, and again, we'll probably talk about it soon here, but I got my Boardgains ready. And that was one of the elements of our Precision Elite training program and the team atmosphere. And then, the idea of proposing challenges and proposing advancement through, giving away awards and trophies to win, making it fun. I had another trainer, Eric, tell me once, he said it was actually a survey or a questionnaire given to people. And it said, these were people in their mid 20s to 40s kind of thing, maybe even later. And the questionnaire was simply, when was the last time you enjoyed fitness? And it gave a couple of options, I guess. And the one that was chosen the most was phys ed class back in elementary school. That was the last time these adults had enjoyed fitness.
Back then, they're doing sports, it's group setting.
Yeah.
So that's a major thing. It's all groups.
After elementary school, you've got high school, and there are some sports there. And then you've got, maybe college for other people. And there's some sports opportunities there. But nobody mentioned those. Nobody went to that as the last time they remembered enjoying fitness. Then, of course, you got the gym world, people who are in their mid-20s, 30s, whatever, and they're going to the gym and doing maybe classes. And none of them picked those as the last time they remembered enjoying fitness, which means they're still attending, but they're not necessarily enjoying the way that they did when they were a kid, right?
Yeah.
When they were a kid, enjoyment was at its max. So I thought we need to find a way to bring fitness and the feeling like a kid again, put them together in a gym class format that, we can run all of it as one package. And it became my main focus for precision elite training. When we do our online classes, I try to put on a show more than just a workout. I try to have fun with everybody.
It's more like, I like to say, like, I don't really, when I do my specialty group fitness classes, it's more about, it's not a group fitness class, it's more like a group fitness experience. It's an experience,
Love it. Love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's not just a class, it's an experience. You experience everything in the class, like, it's something you won't experience anywhere else.
It's true. And I think that's part of the reason that a lot of fitness programs have, taken on maybe like a bit of a bad connotation because, the people aren't enjoying it the way they should be. For example, and again, I don't mean to talk bad about programs, but you can go online and look, and there's a lot of programs for sale that you can get involved in.
Trust me, everybody's a personal trainer.
Yeah, and these buy my 6-pack DVD workout series, and we used to have the P90X and the Beach Bodies and all these different things that were coming out, and I know that's the same company, different programs.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of different ones, and martial arts people like George St. Pierre were coming out with a disc set of workouts, and with celebrity they can sell a lot of things, but when you pop that DVD in, there still isn't any real accountability. So you're going to do it. You might get some results, but are you going to stick to it for life? And I started to realize the failure in most of these programs is the accountability and the fact that people aren't having fun.
Yeah.
We're only driven by result. And if you're not getting result because maybe you're not motivated to even show up in the first place, you figure that program doesn't work. It's not the program's fault. It's the fact you didn't show up. So I like to provide an environment that's more fun to show up to in the first place, right?
That's good.
Know that you're going to have a good time. And there's going to be some work involved, but that work's going to have a reward to it with you getting, aesthetically different as well. You're going to get that transformation that you're looking for. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to have a good time. All of these elements bring it back. So like we were talking about, bringing gym class and fitness and being a kid again, which means, no concern for that hour. Take that hour to yourself. Give yourself that freedom to just enjoy the hour and be silly. Yeah. I encourage people to dance and smile and have a good time and do silly things, right? Watching some of your Boardgains videos, people run up to the board and hit burpees again. And, you just see that that feeling of like, I can't believe that just happened to me. But that's part of playing a game, right? Yeah. There's the highs and lows, and it gives you that.
That's one of the reasons I created it. Just to like the different aspects. I'm like, okay, here's some easy exercises, some hard exercises, and the cards are wild cards. They can help you. They can help you or cause a disadvantage.
Yeah, and the fact you put lucky on it, lucky card, right? People like, that isn't lucky.
No, that's the one thing. It's lucky ? That's why the question mark is there. There's lucky.
You gotta realize. Yeah, you got to realize that that's a proposed question right there. And it's all how you view it. Someone who absolutely loves doing 50 glute bridges might say, that's a bonus. I like it. That's lucky for me. Better than go back to, plank for 1 minute and at the other end of the board, right? So, it's all how you view it. Is the glass half full or half empty, right?
Yeah.
But no, man, what a cool design.
Awesome. So how did you first hear about Boardgains?
That's a great question. I actually, and this is a funny thing too, for those of you listening to the podcast, I don't know how you found out about Boardgains, but I had a client send me a picture of it in like a screenshot and said, hey, I think I'm going to get this for my family for a gift, right? And you know how online, you can't trust anything anymore. There was so much misinformation. It looked more like someone had created, I don't know, like it just kind of like a picture image, but there was actually no game to go with it, right? It was the idea of like a fitness board. And so I started looking for links that might be attached to the photo, kind of go to where did that photo come from? It was just a Google image. It must have popped up in their feed or something. So I thought it was a hoax. I thought it was like it didn't really exist. That's what was funny about it was I was literally looking to debunk the whole idea of this, you're not going to get this because it doesn't exist. And as I was scrolling through, I kept finding links of things that you had posted, videos of people playing it. And I was like, wait a minute, this is legit. So I'm going to look a little deeper. Ended up going right to your site finally through the links, and saw that it was for sale, saw that there was, the package plus additional ways to play, and I thought, well, this is really what I've been looking for. It's the perfect addition to my concept of, bringing people together in a team and then bringing them back to their youth, playing a board game. It's great for families. It's something that seems to be for all ages. I thought if I put it to the test, I'll find out, right? So that's when I ordered it to make sure that I had a one that we could do. And my concept was...
Did you get it from the Kickstarter or from the website?
From the website, I think. I went right to the website. I'm pretty sure I ordered it right from the website.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my concept was that I was going to teach outdoor boot camp. That's what I wanted to do. I had it lined up. It was already going to be taking place, but I didn't have board games in place yet, didn't know anything about it. So my concept was I was going to do something I called squad battles, creating a team and creating another team, splitting who shows up, put everybody into their squad, come up with a team name, and then I would run them through fitness drills, and the team with the best performance in their drills and whatever would win. Well, when Boardgains came to me, I was like, dude, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is like, you did all the work for me, right?
That's what I tried to do when I created it.
Yeah, people have asked me, did you create this? Because it's so in line with your concept that it seems like this is something you would have made. And I was like, I wish I did, but no, Eric put this together. And, I didn't know Eric from a hole in the ground, right? So it wasn't like we worked together on it or anything, but it seemed like we did. To my clients, they were like, this is right on par with what we do.
Yeah.
So, man, I was excited. And applying this to the group, I've got clients who start as young as 7 years old.
I saw the Ayub, the boxer.
Ayub, yeah. So Ayub, our little boxer, he's actually in England.
England, I saw. How did you first connect with him?
Totally unrelated to everything we're talking about here. One of my growing up, I've been into martial arts because of boxing, but I got into the whole UFC and martial arts thing through as a fan. I mean, I wasn't involved in it. Like I wasn't a competitor or anything, just as a fan. I love watching. And one of the sponsorship companies was Venom. You see the Venom snake thing. So UFC's actually reconnected with Venom now. Well, there was an opportunity for me to become an ambassador for Venom, to actually wear their apparel and get paid for referral sales and everything else. So I obviously applied for that opportunity and I received it. And so I was accepted as a Venom ambassador to, promote Venom material and gloves for boxing and like all the equipment and everything. I was super stoked about this. So when I got to there was a handful of what they called elite ambassadors. And there was like the generalized ambassador, which was me. But the elite ambassadors were a bit higher. They had higher social media followings. They had higher, whatever. Ayub was on that list of elite Venom ambassadors. And so I started watching his videos and I realized this guy's got so much character. He does
have character.
Wow. And work ethic and everything that I wanted Precision Elite to represent was in this little guy. And again, when I told you my story, I started boxing when I was 7.
Yeah.
Here he was, 7 years old. Like the mirror image of where I began. And I thought, if I can help him in any way with my experience to take him from 7 to the point where I was, there's no doubt he can far supersede anything I achieved.
Yeah.
Injuries set aside.
Yeah.
With my injury situation, I want to see him, get there. So anyway, we started communicating back and forth through messages. His dad obviously does a lot of creative control over where he goes and what he does. So
makes sense.
Long story short there, we've built a great relationship. His dad has 100% trust in what I teach and how I teach. They attend my classes on Zoom. They also attend them through recordings and playbacks that I have.
That's good.
Zoom session. And his favorite workout, I mean, he loves the weight training, but his favorite workout is literally to do Boardgains. He will not miss that. In fact, Eric, there's a 5-hour time difference between us and England or the UK. I teach at 7 o'clock at night for Boardgains on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
He'll show up and that's 11 or like 11 to midnight his time. So he literally goes to bed. His dad wakes him up and he comes and joins us online so he can do Boardgains. He just loves the program. Yeah, and that's 7 years old.
The kids love it. Like I have some schools that bought the game and like some of the videos I see is like all the kids are loving it. I got some comments saying like grades 2 to grade 8, they're all loving it. I was like, what, grade 2s? That's crazy. Because when I'm just thinking, I'm like, yo, usually it would be like grade 6 plus can play the game because they have some exercise knowledge of some of the exercises and stuff, and like the teachers can teach them. But grade 2s, I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
It is very crazy. And you know what? Another testimony to you in the program and your board games. One of my clients is a school teacher, and she teaches grade 2. The kids in that actual age demographic there. She asked if she could utilize the Boardgains as one of their fitness classes.
Yeah.
But it was also an evaluation. So she had a higher up teacher. Or principal or whatever, grading her on actually teaching the class. So she used Boardgains, put together the full teaching spectrum. You've got an actual teaching application on
the
top
guide
as well. The guide, right. Amazing, man. And she ended up getting a fantastic grade as a teacher, and the kids loved it too at grade 2. So
that's a major market is the kids and teachers, because like I created the game for instructors basically, like group fitness instructors. It's a boot camp in a box. So I made it as easy as possible so instructors can just pop up the game, and all the instructor has to do is just basically oversee. You're just watching form, and that's about it, because the game runs itself. Once everyone knows all the instructions, the game is running itself, and you're just overseeing. Half the time when I'm setting up the game with others, my classes, I'm just recording half the time, because everyone knows all the exercises. They all know how to do the correct form, so I'm just there just commentating, and then recording everything.
Yeah, man. Entertaining, right? Just being the host.
Yeah, basically. And then with teachers, they're a host too. So with teachers, they have all the kids, and then all they have to do is set up the game and just be a host, and just make sure the kids are doing correct form, and then make sure they know the rules. So when they're playing, you're just being a referee / host.
Absolutely. That's the coolest thing, man. And we've had it where on our outdoor class, sometimes we've had a spouse show up who's not quite in our program. They just support their loved one,
Yeah.
I'll assign them the option to kind of, be the board host and just stay at the board and make sure nobody's cheating when they come up and roll. Because, people will try to, they'll flip a card or they'll roll the dice and go one extra space to avoid the burpee. So people will try to scam their way out of some of the harder exercises. So we'll have a board host each time.
Yeah.
If not, then I'll be the board host.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and once everyone knows all the exercises, sometimes you don't even need the host. You can just set up and go. I had clients. Sometimes there's no classes at the gym, so they would bring their own board games and then set up their own class and set up in his workout. I was like,
so easy, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, the board gives you the option to build anything you want with it, really, and that's kind of been really great for us, like for Precision Elite as a company, because we have some signature exercises that we do in our program.
Yeah.
The ones that I've literally created them through my experiences. They're safe and effective, and I want my team to be able to utilize them. And they weren't on the board. So I started, writing them on paper and kind of taping them on the board. And you messaged me and said, I actually have templates that you can print out.
Yeah, you gave me the idea for that.
Yeah.
Because at first I was thinking of, I wanted to create, you gave me the idea. I wanted to create something like something you could just stick onto the board and take it off, or stick on where it sticks on perfectly. And I was like, okay, I was trying to figure out how to do that. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna create them on a PDF file so people can just print it off. If they go to the Staples, they get a good color ink, and then it'll be nice and it'll match the board.
It does, man. It looks awesome. So it made a big difference. So we kind of put our heads together there. I didn't realize that, but I love the template, and because you can write the exercise, you can customize some of the spots on the board. We had one night where we played the game, and it was a lot of jumping jacks, and it was just by chance. We landed on them a lot. We hit them in the circuits. We hit them all, and people were like, "There's so many jumping jacks." And I thought, well, maybe there's a spot on there with jumping jacks. We could put something else. So I kind of made an exercise to go over that one. Yeah. We could still hit it in the circuit. We could still hit it other places. Yeah. But we took one of the options away, and they kind of liked the idea of customizing. And they said, well, maybe we could do a whole custom board. Then I think it was Halloween rolled around, and I decided I was going to do an entire Halloween theme, rename all the exercises with spooky names or ghostly names or whatever. And we redid the whole board in a Halloween theme, which was cool, but it was exactly, still concept and 100% board games with a theme, which was cool.
That's
but
good.
Now with these templates, you've given us the ability to recreate anything at any point.
Yeah, so I just try to make it easy for everybody. Sometimes you want to
Awesome.
customize it because I only put 20. I want the original game, like so some of the original ones that had more exercises on it, but then I wanted to like just dumb it down to 20 exercises only. So it's not a
Yeah.
lot of not a lot to teach. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick to just only 20 exercises on the board. So it's not too many exercises where people are like, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's that? What's this? So
100%, you're right. And again, if you're in an environment where you're bringing in new people all the time,
exactly.
it is important to keep it basic as far. And again, don't forget, the human functional body has basic fundamental movements, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that you see people doing on Instagram and YouTube, they're all just elaborated versions of things that can almost get dangerous at points.
Yeah.
They're so far from the basic foundation, and they become risky to the point where only advanced individuals could even pull that stuff off.
Yeah.
It's dangerous for someone who's untrained. So it's better to go back to the basics, which you have on the board already, the basic core. You're not going to miss a thing when you do the board the way that it's designed.
Nope.
You put all the best workout exercises on there to get the safest and most effective workout.
Yeah.
In my case, yeah, and again, experience matters, right? So as a good coach with experience, you've already gone and thought ahead on that. So with my group, because we don't experience, like we've got pretty much a core group who come out for this.
Yeah.
They know the exercises very well. They've done them week after week. Exactly. So I'm able to throw something new on the board and they all can adapt to that one new exercise, especially because it's one of our, what I call signature exercises for our programs.
Yeah.
They know what it is and they actually look forward to hitting it on the board going, sweet, I can't wait to get that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? If new people were coming in, they go, what is that? I'm just trying to learn what an air squat is. And you got this crazy exercise. I don't even know what that is, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to make changes and put, customization, you want to make sure your group knows ahead of time what's coming so it doesn't slow the process down big time.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. But like you said, man, experience is where it's at. When you go through and you learn, and you're willing to take feedback. I think that's another part when we talk about new trainers listening to the podcast. Don't be the know-it-all trainer who's come out with all the knowledge and there's no room for listening. Keep an open mind and listen, because every client's going to teach you something, and they're hiring you to teach them about the fitness, but they're going to teach you things about overcoming different, whether it be, injuries or even just mindsets and things like that. You've got to really put in the time to listen, and you're going to gain a ton of experience that way. Through Boardgains, I mean, you've already, grown from the time you designed the game once, the first time, to look where it is today.
Yeah. The first edition of the board was on a whiteboard. It had all exercises in the gym. So like kettlebell swings, tire flips, thrusters with dumbbells, all exercises that were available in the gym. And then like the next version, same thing. And then when I started the board game version, I was like, okay, I want to make this all body weight. And so then you can play it anywhere. So the first board game one, it had all body weight exercises, but some of them were like moving exercises. So some of them had like 50 feet bear crawl, 50 feet walking lunges. So then I was like, and then when I was playing the game playtesting with people, it would just get too hectic sometimes, because like people are lunging by, people are running, people are running into people because they're bear crawling. They're trying to run to the board. This guy's bear crawling. So I was like, okay, for the next one, I'm going to make it all stationary. So literally, you have your workout space, and that's your workout space, and then you just run to the board. That's it. So you're not moving anywhere. You're in one spot, exercise mat space, and that's it.
That's perfect. The chaos that can be created with too many moving parts.
Exactly.
It can get very complicated, and then people are literally risking injury, which we don't want.
Exactly.
So yeah, the idea that you brought it to a home-based version was 100% what we needed. For us, especially because I'm teaching it on Zoom, but I'm also teaching it in person. So it gives me both options. If it had to have a 50-foot bear crawl, I mean, in your kitchen,
exactly,
right?
Exactly,
or your living room, what are you going to do? You're going to go in circles at best,
yeah.
it was pretty difficult. So the fact that you started to modify things where bear crawls, an option in there. If you want it to be, you put it in as a customized design, or it's part of your warm up, whatever. You can literally walk across your mat and then back again, and just keep it to a small location for a warm up sake. But at the same time, they're all body weight driven, so you don't have to go and invest in dumbbells and barbells and tires to flip and kettlebells and things like that. If you don't have them, you don't need them, which makes it like you said, you can bring it to a school, you can bring it to a park, you can put it anywhere, and the game is functional.
The best ones are the outdoor sessions.
Yeah,
those are my fun ones. Outdoors.
Love it. Yeah, man. It's creative too. You take the board and take pictures. I've seen some of your shots out by wild out in the wilderness and falls and the water stuff. Very cool. Very cool. But again, it looks like, those are places you could take the board and you could play.
Yeah, right? The next one I'm going to do, or I'm working on it, is just like a bag for the board.
Oh, yeah.
That's the next thing. It's a bag. I'm still
trying to carry the entire box?
Yeah, it's a bag with a table.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So so then you can pop it up anywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a bag. I'm trying to create it's like a gym bag, which has a table underneath it, so you can pop it up, so it can have like a little nice, those like camping tables where they just low to the ground, like that.
Right. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Very cool. You might end up selling that to more than Boardgains clients.
Yeah, it's gonna be board game people all over the world.
Literally a pop-up table. You'll have campers buying it, everything all over the world.
Yeah. So that's the next thing. I found someone in like India. They made it. They already made it. So I'm trying to reach out to them to make a custom one for me.
Nice. That's a great idea. That would definitely help. I went and bought a table for outdoors myself, just a folding table, which you can get anywhere. But one that's Boardgains, branded and in the colors and all. I mean, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because the way I do it, I have I have a pop-up table too, but it's like a pop-up. I would say like a trade room table, those trade shows table. So
Yes.
I bought it online. Got the logo on the folder of it, or the tarp, and then it pops up quick. It's like 10 seconds. I can pop it up, put it up anywhere. It's portable. But yeah, the next one is once I get the design going with the table. That's the next version.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. And again, through experience, right? Through being willing to listen, you get that feedback. And
I know. Yeah, the only thing that's missing is the table. Then you can literally pop it up anywhere.
Right. Yeah. So it's and then consider the terrain, right? What will you be playing on? The table legs, how will they be designed? I mean, there's different things to think about. Is it on sand? Is it on grass? Is it on pavement? It needs to be able to be on everything. So maybe if the legs are going to stab into a grass or something too deep, you might lose your table, tip over the side. So just different things to consider. But it's such a great development that you would consider. Getting that as part of the upgrade to the package.
Yeah, that's the next part. Then it's like a combo package. You can buy the game with the table.
That's right.
Or with the bag table. And then it's going to have to it'll double. It's a double as a gym bag and the table.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And again, it's an easier way to carry the board. I'm constantly throwing it into my gym bag, right? And trying to tuck it in there.
Yeah.
And then I got a table on the other hand. So a lot of pieces to carry. So that'll really put it together as a package for you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because because usually people they have the table, put it on a table. Some people just play it on the grass. So I was like, that works too. It works.
Yeah, it does. In fact, where we play, it's basically a track. So we have the track around the outside, and then we have grass inside, and then pavement around, which is the driving areas around the outside. So we've got all three terrains to work with there. I have the clients put their yoga mat or whatever they're using on the grass, and then we use the track as the one corner of the board where it had, I think, 100 butt kickers. I think
100 high knees.
High knees, right? I overlapped that with a customized one lap of the track because we play it outdoors.
Exactly. Do you know what the original? Before it was 100 high knees. It was one lap around the building.
Ah, there you go.
That's what it was.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I had to change it. I was like, I need to make it stationary. So high knees was it.
And that's right. So you're right. When you play outdoors, you have options to customize that you might not have indoors. We talked about
Yeah.
the bear crawl example, but yeah, I think indoors, obviously, I turned it into a 1 minute wall sit, isometric, up against the wall and just kind of performing a 1 minute penalty of wall sitting.
Yeah.
Just like the plank, which you have on the other end, which I love, and we leave that there. But yeah, it's fantastic. So it's kind of the go to jail card.
It is. That's what it is. It's basically go to jail, but it's go to
Just
plank.
go and sit there and serve your time.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, that's fantastic. And it gives us another chance to use the sand timers as well. So
yeah.
the game is designed really well, man. And anyone listening to the podcast, if you're on the fence about getting Boardgains, don't even hesitate. I mean, we're not here to sell you. It'll sell itself. You
It
just
sells
need to own
itself. Trust
it.
me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Fantastic.
And people will get their money's worth from the game. You buy it, and then you teach 3 classes. You got your money's worth. You got your money's back.
That's true. Very true. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're talking about group training. And again, personal trainers listening to this, fitness trainers, when you think about the compound factor, if every client's paying, even $5, but you've got 10 clients, you know what I mean? That's like having one client paying $50, but you're teaching a whole group of people, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to, if you're charging $10 or $15, to all of a sudden increase your wage. Like you're literally giving yourself a raise and you're helping more people. They're sharing the cost of your time. And again, you value your time because of your experience and your knowledge, right? I think a lot of trainers come out of the gate with the experience, or sorry, not the experience, but the mindset of, I got the piece of paper, so now I'm worth more. And a lot of times that's not going to transfer to the client. They're going to see that the experience isn't there yet. So build that experience, do things like this, have fun with groups of people. You'll get a chance to, I call it kind of amplify or rev up your experience quicker. Yeah. I can get 15 to 20 people playing Boardgains. That gives me 15 to 20 different experiences with each person.
Yeah.
At the end of class, ask questions.
I had a school, they had, I think they had 40 kids playing it. They had 7 teams of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a huge group.
Yeah, because originally I was like, in my brain, I was like, the max you could do with this game is about like 100 people. 10 teams of 10.
Yeah.
Because there's 10 game pieces, so 10 teams of 10.
Right.
And you just have to space them out all around the board. Nice and organized. So everything's organized.
Yeah. Organize the stations. But like you said, they're stationary. So everybody has a path from their station to the board. Nobody's crisscrossing or tripping over anybody else. I guess the only congestion area is the board itself, but you'll have to kind of regulate who gets there first, takes their turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that type of thing. Because and again, it depends if you designate a runner or if the whole team runs back.
Yeah, it would be one runner.
Yeah, right.
One person runs to the board to roll, because no point the whole team running to the board for one.
When you've got that many participants, it would just be chaos to have the whole team run back.
Yeah.
10 people coming back with their team. So I would definitely represent a runner. But what a great way to get steps in, too. One of our goals, I always tell people, is get those steps, which brings us to something I'm not sure if you were even going to talk about today, but your contest online to give away Boardgains, putting in steps. I always ask clients to put in about 8,000 to, as a target per day.
Yeah.
8,000 to 10,000 is a generalized great target. For more of my elite end athletes, I'll literally put on them maybe 12,000 up to 20,000 steps. Some of them love to walk and they're very active. And that would be for the higher level activity. But generalized fitness, 6,000 to 8,000, even 10,000 steps a day is fantastic.
Yeah.
And Boardgains gives you a chance because you're going from board to back to station, doing exercise and walking back. You're getting your steps in. It's easy to do.
Walking is the most underrated form of exercise.
It's true, man.
Yeah, most people aren't walking.
Yeah, so many people are just not active, and then they think if they go to the gym for 1 hour, that basically covers it, right? You're good. No. And I'm thinking, how many hours in a day, right? 24, and you did 1.
Exactly.
I think the 23 you didn't do are going to outweigh that 1. Now, it doesn't mean that the 1 wasn't beneficial. But more activity around it by simply walking will accompany it and make it more valuable so that the other 23 don't end up being so detrimental to that 1 hour you really worked for, And not everybody's working that 1 hour 7 days a week either. They're doing it once or twice a week and figuring they're going to win the battle.
Yep.
Proper nutrition, obviously, is another factor, but just activity. Like you said, underrated walking, just moving, active,
Yeah.
gather hunters, right? Human beings.
Yeah. Trying to go
If you
back to
think
like,
back to where, right back to the earliest days that we know of, we were basically on foot, man. And
yeah,
that's how you fed yourself. That's how you provided for your whatever, your family or whatever. You had to walk.
that's
So
true.
get walking. If you're listening to this podcast, you're a trainer, get your clients walking. If you're just listening to this and you're a participant, get walking. Like literally
Get
walk.
walking and listen. That's what you do. That's what I do. I go for walks, have a podcast on, and get my steps in that way. It kills two birds with
Absolutely.
one stone. One, I'm listening to a podcast, I'm learning. Two, getting my steps in, walking.
Why not, right? That's
Exactly. Yep.
perfect. And you're growing. I mean, literally listening to and educating yourself, you're giving yourself an opportunity to
It's a
bring
growth
something back
walk.
to your classes. Yeah. How many more people will you be able to teach based on what you just listened to? And change more lives. You can spread that information. That's what I said earlier in the podcast today was as a good coach, your job is to create more good coaches of the future,
Yep.
change lives, but look to create new leaders. I think that's the most important thing. It's not about you, it's about them, and you're going to bring your knowledge and your experience to them, and give them your best. And if you're focused on money, you're going about it the wrong way. I think that's very important information for any trainer.
Yeah.
The money, people will be
The
throwing
money
the
will
money
come.
at you if they value the service, right? So like I said, show them you care, show them that you want your experience to transfer into them and their results. I mean, it's awesome and so rewarding.
Yeah. The more you show the more that you show that you care, the more results that they get, the more referrals that they'll bring to you. It's all about showing that you care. If you're always thinking about like, how do I get more clients? How do I get more clients? You're not gonna get more clients that way. You're gonna get clients, but you're gonna lose them just as fast as you got them. So as long as the best way is to take care of the clients you have, give them the best care, best results, because those are your billboards. Because they're gonna be bringing people to you.
Love it, man. Your mindset is 100% on par with where I'm at as well. After all these years, and like I said, I've got about 25 years to almost 30 years in the business. I started so young, and
Yeah.
as I became coach, from athlete to coach, as experiences I gained, I also had, think about how many national level coaches that I had to work with in my boxing, and then personal trainers I worked with and listened to. And today I don't stop. I still listen to podcasts online.
Yep.
I listen to bodybuilder podcasts, but then I'll listen to athletes. I'll
Yeah.
listen to yoga instructors. I'll listen to motivational speakers. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I'm continuing to try to take in as much as I can to pass that information along. But when you work with a good coach who has experience, you're also working with all the coaches and influencers that they've had in the past. You can't beat that. So when people ask, how much is it to hire you or whatever, it's almost like there's no price you can put on that experience, man.
It's all an investment.
It
The
really is.
clients
And
are
you've got to look
investing
at
in
it
their
as
bodies.
investing. That's 100%, Eric. You're investing in yourself.
Exactly.
And, you're getting a good qualified coach to help you get there. But at the end of the day, it's an investment in you. And that's what you were talking about with people who, when, they're focused on how many clients can I get as a trainer. It doesn't last. You can fill your bucket and your bucket's empty at the end of the week and nobody's re-signing. That says something. And that says something about how you approached it, right?
Yeah.
Where if you're literally putting in the time and the care to these clients and they're coming back and they're referring others and they won't go anywhere but with you and your product, that's a huge testimony to how you handled it. And you weren't focused on the how many clients I have. You were more focused on how much quality result can I get for these people long term.
Yeah.
Because long term is what matters most. Teach people to succeed long term. The old saying,
Yeah.
give a man a fish, right? Give a man a fish, feed him a day, teach them to fish, feed them for a lifetime. That's the way you want to handle it. And I believe anyway that, in my opinion, that's the way to handle it. And
Yeah.
again, after all years of experience, I'm still here. So something's working right. And I'm very grateful for that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And Boardgains has just been a great addition to everything we've had going over the years. It was literally the next step of where I wanted to take the outdoor classes. So man,
Yeah.
it couldn't have come in a more perfect time. And I appreciate the friendship I got, with you out of the whole deal as well. I think the coolest part was when I opened the box, you had your picture in there and a nice little thank you note.
Yeah.
What a personal touch. I was like, this is the dude. This is
Yeah.
the guy.
That's Those are, yeah, for all the Canadian customers, I was able to do that because I was able to
Awesome.
like yeah, write all the cards and send it to the shipper to do all that. So I have to start the personal touch. I have to start doing that for the American customers now.
For
Yeah,
sure. It makes a difference, man. And again, coming from a coach who's been in this business a long time, I felt it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I didn't look at it like, oh, look at it, like, this is a, markety thing or a sales technique type thing to get me to buy anything more. I
yeah.
felt like, no, he's literally appreciative of me purchasing his product and putting my trust in him. And it was a nice touch. I just think that
Perfect.
that's something that
Yeah,
people need to realize, again, as trainers and coaches listening to the podcast. Make it personal with your individuals, whether you're doing one-on-one or as a team. Still find a way to make it personal, put that personal touch on it. And yeah, I mean, it's the coolest thing. And I think we both agree too that it all starts with foundation and functional training.
yep,
And Boardgains is literally the epitome of functional training in a hit style circuit training, high intensity, low intensity. Like, I mean, you can really mix it together. You could do supersets. You could bring weight training into it, which
yep.
I've just done recently. The team's loving it. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I mix in supersets with weight training. Now,
That's
only
good.
because I know my group and they all have,
Yeah.
some small dumbbells at home. So we'll do the Boardgains the way we normally do, and then we'll superset with a bicep curl, let's
Okay.
say.
Yeah.
Then we'll superset with a squat with weights. We'll superset with a lunge with weights. We'll, bent over row with weights. But we'll do whatever's on the board first. So we're getting high
Yeah.
intensity,
Yeah.
and then we're getting resistance strength.
Yeah. That's what I've been
What
doing
a cool
too. I've been doing like so whatever they land on. So they land on 10 burpees. They do 10 burpees, and then whatever superset exercise I have on the board. So sometimes it's like sled
beautiful.
push. Sometimes it's assault bike. Yeah. Sometimes it's like yeah.
Nice.
I try to
And
beat
that's
them
the
up.
coolest.
I
Yeah,
try to
that's
beat
a
them up in
great.
class. But now I've been
It's
doing for
great.
the kids. I did
Yeah.
a. It's sort of like because I get my inspiration from watching Survivor because they do all the obstacles and stuff. So I love doing like obstacles in my classes. So I have the
Yeah.
relay. So where they do the board game. They do like 2-3 laps of board games. Then they go to the next obstacle. So the first obstacle is board games. The next one is like a sandbag toss. So they have to get the sandbag into the target. If they miss, they do a burpee until they get like 3 or 4 targets in. And then the last part, sometimes I do a puzzle. So it's like a puzzle. Like, they have to get the words. And each time they get it wrong, they have to do a burpee or like whatever exercise I have on the board, and then yeah, they just solve the puzzle, and the first team to solve the puzzle, they win.
It's genius, man. I love it. I get excited just listening to the ideas.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many
It's
things
so
you can do
cool.
with board games. Like
Yeah,
it all depends
that's
on the
awesome.
instructor. The instructor
Right.
as long as they're creative, they can use board games in any setting they want to. If they're playing at a
Absolutely.
hill, you can incorporate hill sprints with board games. That could be like, they could be like you do the board and then you finish off with the hill sprints and then back to the board or however you want to.
It's such a testimony to your experience as well, Eric, when you think about that, because you could take an inexperienced coach or trainer, bring Boardgains to the bottom of that hill, and they wouldn't realize the hill's there. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? They've never had the experience to understand the value of running up a hill and its full, posterior chain benefits. And I mean, like there's so much to just that exercise alone, running that hill. But the hill could be right there and they wouldn't know it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's your experience coming through and saying
yeah.
that's a perfect superset. Run that hill for a superset, like literally. And there's so many opportunities. You go to a park out, like literally these parks where there's kids, kids' toys and stuff. I call them toys, but there's monkey bars and jungle gym. I said to my team the other day, for those of you who don't have a pull-up bar at home, just go walk to the local park, and I can guarantee you'll find at least 5 or 6 pull-up bars there
Yeah,
in whatever format. It could be the bottom of the slide. It could be the monkey rings. Like, there's so many different things. And you could practice your pull-ups if that's something you want to work on right at the local park. You just got to be creative. You got to use that experience, right?
yep.
So I think that's brilliant when you start throwing in the environment, especially outdoor
Environment.
classes give you that. Throw the environment into it and make sure that people have a chance to really fully experience it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I take my team on hikes. We get out there.
Yeah, I've seen
We'll
the
do like,
hikes. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
next thing
we'll
I'm
do
probably
hikes,
gonna end up
man.
doing. I'm gonna start like a
Absolutely.
board games hikes.
Yeah, they love it. We call it the Precision Elite Hiking Team or the Precision Elite Walkers,
Yeah,
and we'll pick a location. We'll anyone who's available that day will go and we'll put in a nice 10K hike or even a 5K. We signed up for Barrie this year, the Foam Festival. There's a
Okay.
great big foam fest run in Barrie, and I guess it takes place in multiple cities. I'm sure there's one in Mississauga.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
probably a bunch of them, but Barrie's as close as it got to us up in
yeah, yeah.
Sudbury and Chelmsford. So we picked that location for July this year. We've already fundraised for the sick kids almost $1,000, I believe, just through Precision Elite, just
Yeah.
our team and our families and friends who are donating. And we've got, I think,
That's
14
beautiful.
registered participants going to represent our team and just have fun. You know, it's not to win anything per se, it's to contribute to the Sick Kids Foundation, the whole cause for what this is, and to have fun as a team and go and test everything we've been working on all year.
Yeah.
You know, we've been Boardgains, we've been weight training, we've been working on weight loss and muscle strength gains, and I just want to give them a chance to have an outing. Last 2019, I took them to a trampoline park.
Oh,
In Sudbury, we have a trampoline park,
is
so
it
I
called
wanted
Sky
everybody.
Zone?
Ours is called Urban Air,
Okay.
but I'm guessing they're all privately owned and
Yeah,
different
yeah.
names, different franchise, maybe that way. But yeah, everyone had a brilliant time. And if you think back to our conversation earlier, that survey that personal trainer had
The
told me
fun,
about,
yeah, for
where everybody said the most, like the time they remembered the best fitness enjoyment was gym class. What better place to do that and feel like a kid again than a trampoline park, right?
Yeah,
You know? So here I was, man, with like 67, 68-year-old clients through their 40s, 30s, 20s, all of them at this trampoline park, bouncing around like kids, having a good time, getting a sweat on, and jousting on top of into the ball
yeah,
pit, climbing rock walls. It's just amazing to see people excel, and I think that's one of the biggest rewards as a coach, man. When you were kind of asking like, what do you enjoy most about training clients? It's actually seeing them achieve their goals, celebrating the small victories along the way, and then watching them perform. Whether it's in a sport, some of them like to train with you, and then they go to a sport.
yeah,
Maybe they play soccer or whatever. You get to watch them on the field, or maybe they're a swimmer and you get to watch them swim their laps in the pool or whatever it is. I've got MMA clients, boxing clients that I get to watch, some of them even on TV, who are performing, and I get to watch them on a live stream or whatever.
yeah,
There's nothing more rewarding than seeing that ultimate performance. But even for the general public, just to watch them in something like this 5K foam run coming up, or even watching them play Boardgains, it's almost like an application of just watching them have a good time with being mobile, being fit and healthy. Such a
yeah.
reward.
That's beautiful. That's the best thing. The best thing I see about board games is all the different communities it's impacting. You have your Precision Elite community. There's a next community, all these different communities with all the trainers just using board games, teachers using it. Beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see when I'm watching it. I'm like, yo, my game is going all around the world. People are playing it. It's lovely. But we're gonna
Oh,
start
you're right.
ending. We're gonna start ending it soon. Uh, one living.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a pleasure
Time
and an
flew
honor to
by.
get to be on here. Yeah, like I said, I apologize if any of the stories were long-winded, but I
No, that's
hope that there
fine.
was some nuggets of information in those
Yeah,
that
yeah. I'm gonna
really
probably
the
chop up those
listeners can
nuggets for
take
like
with them.
Instagram, because
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic, man.
So
It's
Lawrence, any last words
awesome.
you want to say to the people listening, watching?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is interested, of course, like I said, if you're on the fence about board games, get it. Don't even hesitate.
Yeah,
If you're interested in fitness and you're in the Mississauga area, obviously check out Eric and Habitual Fitness. I mean, those are things I don't have to promote for you. They
yeah,
promote
yeah.
themselves. And for us, it's Precision Elite Training. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We've got Precision Elite Training pretty much everywhere. TikTok, I think we've even gotten into that market now. I'm no media expert, but I'm doing my best. So try to get out there
Yeah.
and
Build a
so you
community.
can reach out to us that way.
All right.
Definitely connect with us. But yeah, just get those steps in.
That's
Try
what I
your
want to
best to
hear.
eat healthier, and absolutely, man. Functional training, full body movement is prime. At the end of it all, after all my years of experience, if there was that one thing I could say is just enjoy. Life is short, and make the most of it by being mobile. Because if you're literally sitting inactive, your body's gonna just seize up the way that a vehicle would in the yard, right? You got to run it. You got to get it out there and use it. So this is your vehicle, and you only get one. So take care of it.
Perfect. And remember, guys, just have fun with it. Have
That's
fun with
right.
it.
Even on your worst day, you can have your best day.
And we're gonna end off with that. All right. See you, everybody. Peace, Lawrence.
Take care. Thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. All right. Have a great day.